This actually was in yesterday's eMarketer, and I just felt as though I like to have the most current data, and with senior level executives, and I think C-level executives have probably been the ones that are harder to grasp and understand the social media. And in their recent survey they did in February of 2012, they've actually said that 69% of them agree that their customers speaking out on social media has influenced sales. Now, I love that because it's not only customers, but if you go down the middle, it also talks about their relationships from a B2B perspective with suppliers and vendors. And then lastly, you can also see that social media is also helping in the recruitment of talent for your companies. So if you haven't drank the Kool-Aid before today, at least you're going to be a little bit more open-minded before you leave. Sound good? Excellent. Okay, so one of the things that I see happen so often is that people start their social media without really an understanding that there needs to be a strategy and a plan. So, and I see the head nods, and I love that. Thank you. Because that's one of the things that I find is that I do so many seminars about growing your business. And today you have a keynote, the small business lady, and I had the opportunity to be on tour with her through a couple of events last year. And you know, one of the things you'll hear her say is that Twitter is her job. It's part of her job description because as an expert consultant, that's her business. That's the avenue in which she communicates. So her strategy in leveraging that particular tool is to make sure that it's an open forum for her customers or potential customers to talk with her directly. And I'm sure she'll share that with you today. But again, it has to be a strategy. You can't just get out there and just tweet or pin or anything without some idea behind it. Now, there was a seminar beforehand, and I inevitably get these questions too, which is, you know, do I have to be here? Do I have to be there? I want to talk about that a little bit more today as we go through. One of the other things I also want to mention is that you don't always want to jump on a bandwagon, at least not without a plan. This is one of the reasons why I added Pinterest in here today, because I've gotten so many questions on it. And one of the things you have to realize is it may not be a right fit for you. It might not be the perfect place for your business. And if you're doing your social media in-house and you don't outsource to a firm like us, what happens inevitably is what? Overload. You can't do it all, right? Absolutely. Okay, so now the other thing I like to do before we do anything with any clients is we ask them to stop and think. We really want to clarify who is your customer, okay? What social media are they using and why? And I know you guys have heard this before, but I like to put it in here again because inevitably that's why people say, oh, I've been tweeting and it's just not working for me. Well, are you understanding what of your customers are on Twitter and what they're doing while they're there? So that's really, really important. And for those of you who are thinking about starting a plan, I always say before you start, listen. One of the things that I teach in my 101 classes is I tell people to use Facebook, use LinkedIn, use Twitter, check out Pinterest, but don't necessarily start your company pages yet. See what your clients and prospective clients are doing. One of the best things I can tell you is those of you who get emails from clients, how many of us get emails from clients? Everybody's hands should go up. If you've ever noticed, how many of you have at the bottom of your email or they have at the bottom of their email where they're connected? Right? So why don't you take the time and look at the tools they're using for themselves personally and their business before you decide which ones to jump on. And you really could go back through those emails and start to see, let me see what my customers are doing on these various social outlets. Okay, so I think we've heard this before, but I want to kind of pause here and stop and talk a little bit about this because one of the things in the outlining of the seminar, I want to make sure that we understand that social media is something that can be leveraged for both B2B, B2C, and nonprofits. Okay, so one of the things that I want to make sure everybody's clear about is that social media is relationship building.